I'm Dan Aykroyd. In addition to my work as a writer and actor, I have also pursued a lifelong interest in the supernatural and the paranormal. Time, space, and matter are continually being altered in ways that challenge our four-dimensional world. This is the realm of Psi, events which defy conventional explanation. The following story is inspired by these subjects and is taken from the actual case files of the Office of Scientific Investigation and Research.
This is air traffic control. Come in all units. Proceed immediately to northwest quadrant, grid map 4, sector 11. Unidentified aircraft down. I repeat, unidentified aircraft down. Unable to confirm a call sign, former course, or direction. This bogey came out of nowhere.
Signal's going nuts.
What is this, a joke?
Plane's emergency locator beacon is broadcasting from right here. We're right on top of it.
There's nothing here.
Sometimes old aircraft beacons go off after they decommission the plane.
That's impossible.
Up here, let's go, let's go!
Oh my God.
Plane is in the ground?
It's still hot.
Quiet! Listen! Come on, people! Quiet! Help me dig here! Now! Dig!
Come on, let's go! Dig!
Come on, guys, let's go. Dig! Come on!
We must be close to the cockpit.
Come on, let's hurry it up, guys. Come on, let's go, let's go!
Help! Help! Let me out! Help!
Damn it. Ground is still unstable.
This thing's leaking fuel. We need a tox team on site now. Everybody back!
I guess we have to leave the bodies in there.
Just till the site's safe. I don't want to risk any lives trying to recover some corpses.
I can't argue with that. In all your years with the NTSB, you ever see anything like this?
That type of aircraft was grounded by the FAA almost 3 years ago. There isn't an airport in this hemisphere that'd clear it for takeoff.
Yeah, but the engines were still warm when we arrived.
I don't know. The surrounding Earth is undisturbed. The plane didn't crash. It just appeared here.
Hey.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I figured with the time zone change and all.
Oh, you're a lifesaver. Is Mia here yet?
No, she won't be making the trip. Anton has her overseeing some ESP testing back at HQ.
How's her sole survivor doing?
Well, his vitals are all within the normal levels. But he's still in and out of consciousness. As soon as he stabilizes, you can ask him your questions.
Lindsay? It can't be.
Who?
You don't recognize him?
No. Should I?
That's not just any John Doe. That's Marshall Rose.
Marshall who?
Here. Marshall Rose, the missing rock star.
Tales of an Angry Poet. Oh. Nice picture. How long's he been missing again?
10 years.
All right. What was that song you wrote? Desperate?
Desperation.
Huh.
He also wrote It's All Over, Last Rites, Endgame, and Alone. The song started a revolution, so to speak.
What was the name of his group?
Epiphany.
Oh, yeah.
They released 3 CDs in the late 80s to moderate success, but it was their 4th release, whatever, that really put them on the map. They had 4 top 10 singles, Video of the Year, 6 Grammys, Album of the Year, Best Rock Group. Marshall won Best Songwriter.
Okay, I get it. He was a big shot. And the serial numbers on the plane matched the one that disappeared.
That's right. On board was Rose, the pilot, 4 band members. They took off from Detroit, Michigan at 2:14 a.m. on July 7th, 1989, en route to a concert in Seattle.
Plane goes off radar, presumed dead, and a legend was born.
Fans always said that no plane wreckage meant Rose and the band may still be alive.
And then they end up in Canada under a heap of dirt.
10 years to the day after the plane disappeared.
Didn't the air traffic controller receive a distress signal?
Yeah, they did.
So the plane was there, physically in the sky.
No, there was a signal on the radar, but no visual contact was ever made.
And then the emergency locator beacon began to broadcast. So the plane went down, but it didn't crash.
And the possibilities are endless. Time travel, teleportation. Matt, if word gets out that Marshall Rose is still alive,
It'll be like the second coming of Elvis.
we'll have a media frenzy on our hands.
That's exactly why word's not gonna get out. Hey, what's the latest on our sunken plane?
Well, we're still in the process of draining the fuel, so I sent in a probe.
What, the ground's still shifting?
Sporadically.
What's the probe say?
Air's off. It's really dry. I'm picking up a near total absence of hydrogen, and I'm getting static electricity fluctuations that don't add up. Hey, how long does a bottle of champagne stay carbonated after you open it?
If you're asking what I think you're asking, certainly not 10 years.
Man, this is so bizarre.
Hey, what is it?
Plane is buried 12 feet underground, and the passengers don't show any signs of physical trauma.
Hey, they're dead. He's not. Rose is a lucky boy.
I wonder if he'll feel that way.
Matt? It's all right.
Hey,
okay.
take it easy.
You're all right. You're all right. We're here to help you. It's okay. Where's your nose?
Where are you guys?
I'm Lindsay Donner. Yeah, it's okay. And this is Matt Prager.
Plane crash or something?
I'd go with... or something.
Oh, I'm never gonna fly again. Tour buses from now on.
Can you tell us what happened?
We're, late getting to Seattle. About an hour in the air. A lot of turbulence. Things started to get really hairy. Captain Jack wanted to set the plane down somewhere, anywhere. It was real intense. Things were jumping all over the place. Everybody was freaking out.
Oh, the plane was in trouble.
It gets fuzzy. Vinny and Clyde started screaming. I was hearing this noise like feedback. And it was this bright light. Like I was flying. Like I was floating over myself.
Toward the light?
Yeah. You ever been in that place? The place in your head where you don't know if you're gonna make it.
Suddenly the whole picture becomes crystal clear.
In that instant, in your head, everything's all right.
And you know exactly who you are. You remember returning to your body?
No. I guess that's when the plane crashed.
So you positive it's safe in there, Pete?
I don't know what other tests to run. The air is contagion-free, and the geophysical survey shows that the land around the plane is stabilized.
For the time being.
I've also drained all the oil and fuel off the plane, so there should be no chance of explosion.
Okay, then. Let's go see if the victims can teach us something.
All right. Remember, it was pitch black. I was crawling around the cabin yelling for help, and I had to crawl over Captain Jack's body. He didn't make it, did he?
No.
What about the others? Everyone. Carmen.
Well, we're still investigating the crash site.
The only one who made it?
I'm afraid so.
Carmen. And Vinny, too. Oh, this kid, his wife. Man, I'm gonna have to call him.
I think they already know.
How did Lucy take it?
But this is gonna throw you for a loop. The plane didn't really crash.
What are you talking about?
It just appeared here today.
Today? July 7th. Right?
July 7th, 1999.
You and your band, you've been missing for 10 years.
Sure.
All the navigation equipment is frozen. The altimeter is stuck like the plane is still in flight at 30 feet above the ground.
None of the victims are in the crash position. It looks as if they just stopped. There's no apparent pulse or respiration, no pooling of blood in the extremities, and a complete lack of rigor or decomposition.
What do you say?
I'm saying that they haven't been dead for 10 years. I'd like to take blood samples from the bodies while they're still on site. Why isn't the blood flowing?
Can I get a cigarette? Please?
As soon as we get you checked out, we'll send someone out for a pack.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. But I think I can get my own smokes.
Well, we need you to remain on site until we rule out the possibility of you having a relapse.
Relapse? Don't you have to be sick to have a relapse, right?
Yeah. So just take it easy.
See? Take it easy.
Okay, this is one for the medical books, Matt. I mean, there was no sign of life. He was clinically dead, and then...
Clyde Rodriguez, guitar virtuoso, back from the other side. What about the others?
I wish I could tell you. See, I don't know what revived him any more than what put them in stasis to begin with.
Okay, well, let's get the others off the plane and monitor until we get a handle on this.
It's a freak show. It's like showing up after your own funeral.
I can't even begin to imagine what you're feeling.
It's too weird. Now that Clyde's back from the dead, is there a chance for Carmen and the others?
Oh, I hope so. it's still too soon to tell.
When can I see him?
As soon as we get them off the plane.
The 90s. I don't know any of those bands.
Your music was a really big influence on most of them.
How about that new group, Nirvana? That Kurt Cobain kid seems like he's the real deal.
Yeah, he was. But he killed himself in '94.
Killed himself. Why?
It's the mystery that made the legend. I mean, who really knows? All the distractions, the pressures.
Dope. The fans. The tours. Groupies. Promoters. Managers. Comes with the role of celebrity, I guess.
So it's not all it's cracked up to be, huh?
Live fast, die young. Some record companies would put a death by mysterious cause in your deal if they can make it legal. It's supposed to be about the music. After a while, you just realize that nobody's listening.
This is probably very little comfort. But if anything, you're even more popular today than
Before I died. Right? That's the irony of fame. It's got nothing to do with being alive.
Okay, where's this one go?
Put him on the back.
This is everyone who was on the plane.
Vincent Summers, the drummer. Fiona Swift, the bassist and backup singer. And this is Carmen Joy, the band's keyboardist and Rose's lover at the time.
The plot thickens. Come on, Fiona. Come through for me. Good. Good to be able to quit after 10 years.
That's good. Just what the hell is going on here? It's been 10 years. I mean, how? Why?
Work with us, Clyde. And think back to the plane flight. Your memories are going to be fragmented. Just let them surface.
We'd been in the air about an hour. Mose was off by himself, brooding as usual. And then he flipped out.
What was he angry about?
He found out I was gonna do a solo album. A blues project. I told him I wasn't gonna jump ship, but he wouldn't believe me. There were days when he wouldn't believe anybody. Because I should have told him earlier. Said I would find out from the trace.
What happened?
He wouldn't stop bitching. And I got tired of his whining. So we started mixing it up. And then something happened. And this bright light. It's like drowning. Trying to breathe underwater or something. And then I was drifting. Looking down at myself. Like I was looking into a mirror. It was freaky.
Do you remember returning to your body?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Sorry. It's all like a blur after that point.
Calm down. Rose, where's Rose? Rosie.
I lost you, baby. Are you hurt?
No, I don't think so. Where are we? What is this place?
Doesn't matter, baby. What matters is that you're okay.
The light was blinding me. It was really horrible.
Here, drink this. Thanks. So that is the last thing that you remember? The bright light?
It was burning a hole in my skull. And I wanted to cry from the pain, but it was like my heart was stuck in my throat and I couldn't breathe. And then it was like I was flying and I didn't want to breathe. It felt like the plane was falling out of the sky. I can't believe that we lived to talk about it.
What can I tell you? I mean, it was bad karma for sure. I mean, everyone was freaking out, fighting, and then poof, bright light.
Was that something you were afraid of?
No. It was actually kind of cool. It was like tripping on MDA. I just wanted to dance and scream and go crazy, you know, let loose. But I couldn't. I could only float. I floated up and I looked down at myself and then I drifted back into my body. And then everything went black. Has Marshall come down yet?
Yeah, he's okay now. But he wasn't okay on the plane, right? He was upset. Now, was that typical?
What's typical when it comes to genius, man? I mean, is it typical to channel God when you plug in your guitar and make it sing, or reach 1 million people with 3.5 minutes of words and music? I mean, you tell me.
We've been through this with every sensor we got in the truck, Matt. What are you hoping to find?
Something's bugging me. Somebody pushed the panic button.
You think?
These jets are equipped with the ability to blow a door off after an emergency landing.
The altimeter readings. The plane never did land. Somebody blew the door off mid-flight.
Someone wanted it to crash.
The door was blown up.
On purpose.
Are you joking?
No joke. Look, I don't want to sound like a narc, but were you guys high at the time of the crash?
So? More than usual.
This time it was different. I'm not sure. This whole thing just seems like a bad dream.
Maybe it is a dream. Maybe we're really dead.
You like that, wouldn't you, Ross? What's that supposed to mean?
Hey, Clyde. We all lost 10 years of our life. You think I'm responsible for this? You think I wanted this to happen?
You were sick of the whole scene, man.
Admit it, Marsh. You wanted to die.
So going down for a minute of peace. And this game soon, guess I'll cash in on the lease.
Screw you, brother.
You're wrong. I couldn't have. I didn't want this to happen.
It's okay, Marsh. We forgive you.
I don't. Go to hell, rock star.
I'm already there, man.
Matt, come take a look at this. He's stabilized now. But his body, it's unreal. Watch this.
Why is it so thick?
The best way to describe what we're witnessing is that Rose seems to be in the process of slowly shutting down.
I used to find him asleep at the mixing board. Hadn't eaten in days.
You and Marshall go way back, don't you?
Oh, we met 10 years ago. I guess be 20 years now. Two lost souls at the crossroads of life. One chooses happiness, the other one wants despair. Match made in heaven.
You live together. You write songs together?
No.
The lyrics. They were yours, weren't they?
Sometimes I'd write the lyrics and he'd compose the music, and sometimes we'd switch.
But you never took any of the credit.
Epiphany is about Marshall Rose, the rock star. It's his moment. For me, it's about the honesty, reaching out to people. There's nothing out there for me now. Just a world that's gone on without us.
What about your family?
It's complicated. Not many people understand the life we lead. The need to follow a dream. My parents sure didn't.
I'm sorry.
No. Don't be. It was my choice. Marshall and the band are all the family I need. We love each other like crazy.
It didn't seem that way that night on the plane.
Well, Clyde, our lead guitar, was planning a solo album. Marshall read about it and he was pissed.
Why?
It was another sign of the band's success. Marshall thinks that success interferes with creativity. Makes you lazy. Can't say I don't agree. For Clyde and Fiona and Vinny, they like the spotlight, media exposure, the money. Marsh hated all that.
Or maybe he hated the fact that they could enjoy it. Are you okay?
There was a bright light and an explosion. What happened up there?
Matt, I've got the weather report from the night the plane disappeared. It confirms his account. One hell of a storm swept the Midwest.
Shoot. Wind gusts from 60 to 90 kilometers an hour, reports of twisters, lightning strikes, hail the size of baseballs.
Definitely a night to stay home.
Okay, yeah, let's assume the navigation equipment goes blind and the pilot's just trying to get them down safely. It's possible they were heading for this airstrip when they experienced Landis Interruptus.
10 years ago.
Yeah, talk about arriving behind schedule.
Oh, look at this. Here's where the plane was found. Over here is the runway. However, this is where the old runway was.
I feel a theory coming on.
6 years ago, they built a new runway on the other side of the hangar, and they plowed under the old one, and the land is now serving as an excavation dump. Now, I'm thinking that because the altimeter was stuck at 30 feet above the ground, the plane went through a rip or a hole in the space-time continuum.
As it descended into Brandon?
Right. So when the plane was spat out 10 years later...
The space where the plane once existed had changed, meaning that it had to appear in the ground?
Exactly. So, what was a runway in 1989 is now a pile of dirt.
But what happened to the displaced dirt?
Maybe they just switched places. There's probably a plane worth of dirt floating around out there somewhere.
Well, what about Rose and the others?
A decade passed while they were in limbo. For them, it's probably a matter of minutes, maybe seconds.
Okay, he's sedated.
Vinny. The others said 2 men were fighting. Who was it, Vinny?
He was going crazy.
Who was it?
I tried to stop.
Who, Vinny?
He had a grenade. He was gonna do it.
Someone blew up the plane. Who was it, Vinny?
I tried to stop. He wouldn't listen.
Who wouldn't listen?
Rose who tried to kill us.
Found this pin and shrapnel on the aft door frame. Now, Vinny says it was Rose who threw the grenade. You believe him?
Well, Vinny has a rap sheet. History of drug trafficking, violent crimes, and ties to a right-wing militia group.
Prime candidate for carrying army surplus. Yeah, what about Rose? The guy has a serious love affair with death going on.
But Carmen co-wrote most of his lyrics. Maybe she has the death wish.
Okay, let's throw this into the soup. The shrapnel was found on the outside of the plane. Somebody released the aft door, threw the grenade out, and then it exploded.
So was it an act of heroism Or sabotage.
These people have been to the other side and back. We gotta find out how and why. Claire, they all describe floating outside their body. Bright white light, tunnel, all the cliches President accounted for.
It's a near-death experience from all their accounts.
Yeah, except Rose. Everyone remembers coming back from the light, but Rose. Who doesn't remember that part? Pete, still watching the plane?
Yeah, roger that. Standing by.
Is this really necessary?
Yeah, I want to go home. This place smells.
I'm with you, Clyde. This is lame.
Yeah.
Would you just work with us, please?
We need you to focus on that night. Give us a clear picture of what happened.
No way. I'm out of here.
Me too. Hold it. Everybody sit down.
We went through this together, and we're gonna figure it out together. And we need to remember. I need to remember.
Marshall, you and Clyde were fighting, right?
Right. It was all falling away. I guess I wanted it.
Wanted what?
Fame. Managers. The hotels. Limos. Bodyguards. I couldn't hear the music anymore.
I just wanted it to end.
I don't need any of you! Huh? It's all over, man! You gotta know about the wrecking flies? Huh? What you guys are doing? Go ahead. You guys go with them. And then you go to hell. Chill out. Everyone just chill. Rock and roll!
It's all right, Clyde. Everything's going to be cool.
Gonna make it, Captain Jack.
I'm gonna try and set it down anywhere I can. Pretty wild out there. By the way, I buckle up if I were you, Marsh.
You kiss me. Sweaty.
Hey, baby. I'm here for you. What's wrong, Marsh?
It's all over. I can make it. The band's history. Huh?
This is going to be so good. I am going to give you what you've always wanted. What I know you've always wanted.
You know, with Carmen.
I know, baby. She'll just come along for the ride.
What?
experience what you want. To be alone at last. To have eternal fame. All in one neat little package.
Fiona, that's not funny.
We have to do this. They want us to do this.
Who wants us to do this?
The fans. Our fans. They do deserve it.
Crazy.
I want you to live forever, Marshall.
Yeah, right.
You lost your
Death in my prime. An icon for all time. That's what you said, right?
Oops.
It's just a song, Fiona. Just some music. Just some lyrics.
What it said to the world. What it said to our fans.
It was what they wanted to hear. After all, it's just a song about your mother, right, Carmen?
It's just a song.
It's not possible. He's crashing.
Where's he going?
Somehow the plane got stuck in the limbo between what's his life and his afterlife.
And the rest of them weren't supposed to be there. So they got returned. Marshall's dead. He was killed by the grenade blast. But death hadn't finished taking him yet.
Don't know.
Matt, Rose is going for the plane.
Pete, just let him go.
flatline.
You can use your talent for yourself now.
Rosie was my inspiration. I don't know if I would want to do it alone.
I'd want you to, if it really was only about the music.
Because that's the only thing that matters. He's really gone, isn't he? Is it better to burn out than to fade away?
Unfortunately, some people don't have a choice.
Many cultures believe that our life on this earth plane is merely a stepping stone between different stages of existence. Death is not an ending, but a new beginning. Some suggest that when the body dies, the soul perishes with it. Many others believe the soul lives on and is the essence of who and what we are forever. For Psi Factor, I'm Dan Aykroyd.